undercoat it or prime it. And I did mine with a dark gray shadow, with a gray primer. That way you can see the shadows a lot better, and it'll help you when you're painting to remember where the shadows are on the model. So let's take a look at the paints you're going to need to use. You have, first of all, Chaos Black, and your foundation colors are going to be Camry Brown, Calthin Brown, Deneb Stone, Talon Flesh, and then Shadow Gray I use for my city-states colors, but you can use any color you want if you want yours to be from a different city-state. And you've got Art Coat. The gloss varnish is going to make the guts shine at the end of your painting session. So your intestines and any bloody open wounds and sores, you're going to use Art Coat on. Then, for the rusted metal look, you're going to use Blazing Orange, Bestial Brown, and Scorched Brown. And then the washes are really what's going to do a lot of your work for you with these zombie models, because the models themselves are going to be so covered in these sickly colors that are going to need to blend into each other. The washes really do a lot of your work for you, and the washes are Badab Black, Ogren Flesh, Draka Green, and Leviathan Purple. I'm missing one. Where is it? Devlin Mud, where are you? Boop, there you are. Okay, so those are all the washes that you're going to be using. Now the first thing you're going to do is you are going to paint your zombie. Any exposed bone, like a lot of these have skull faces or teeth, or exposed arm bones, or there's one where the leg is, one of the legs like it's chewed up and only the bone is remaining. For those, you are going to, for any exposed bone pieces, you're going to color Deneb Stone. For any exposed skin pieces, like this guy's arm, hands, fingers, ears, the back of the head, you are going to paint Talon Flesh. For myself, I'm going to color this guy's tunic, his top, with Shadow Gray, his pants, Camry Brown, and his little shoes, I'm going to paint those Chaos Black. The spear shaft, or the halberd shaft, rather, is going to be Calthin Brown. Camry Brown is going to be used for the rope, or this binding for the halberd head. And the halberd head is going to be Scorched Brown. Okay, so one more time. Any bone of your model is going to be Deneb Stone. Skin, Talon Flesh. And then Shadow Gray for the tunic, or whatever color you want. Then Camry Brown for the pants. Chaos Black for the shoes. Calthin Brown for the spear shaft. Camry Brown for the binding, and Scorched Brown for the halberd head. So it's all the base coat all at once, and I suggest that if you've got multiple models, it's a lot easier to batch paint them in one go rather than having to go one by one. And it's going to seem longer in the beginning, like I said in my batch painting video, but once you get through the first couple of steps and get to the washes, that's when it gets really fun and all the steps go really fast. Okay, so I'll see you when the base coats are down. Alright players, here is my zombie model all base coated up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to give the entire thing... Oh, I also added red gore. I don't know if I mentioned this is one of the colors we're going to be using, but I forgot. How are you going to do any blood splatters or gory bits without red gore? So red gore is another color you need to add to your list of paints. But we're going to give this entire model a wash of Devlin Mud now. The Devlin Mud is going to dirty everything, tie all the colors together, bring out the shadows, and that is kind of what we want for one of these dark units. Then, after the Devlin Mud has been added, we're going to add some Badab Black to any of these skeleton pieces or bone pieces. Not too much, and only where the shadows would come out. And for all the skin pieces, this is when we're going to have fun with our washes. You're going to take a little bit of a wash, such as the Ogren Flesh wash, and then you're going to use Ogren Flesh on all the skin. And then you're going to take a little bit of the other colors, like the Leviathan Purple, the Thraka Green, and you are going to pool those in different areas of the model. I also like to use Baal Red sometimes to bring out some of the colors, like in any deep recesses, like if you can see in this forearm, he's got this nasty gash on it. I'll put a little bit of Baal Red, and then once that's dry, I'll pool some Leviathan Purple. The thing to remember when you're doing washes, after the Ogren Flesh and the Devlin Mud washes, when you're getting into the colors, you want to not splash them all over the entire surface area of whatever you're working on. You want to let it pool and drip into certain recesses and then let it dry completely, go on to the next model in the batch. Otherwise you're going to just come up with a very dark, muddy look overall. And what you really want is you want pools of red, pools of purple, pools of green to draw the eye. Okay, and let me see if I can give you an example of some that I did recently. Here, so you can see with this guy's head, I used purples. For the arms, I used purple. And let me see if I can find one with there for this skeleton's eye, or this zombie's eye. I let some red pool into the socket and above where the brow line is, and then I added in some purple. So as you can see, I love using purple because it's such a great muddy color. For this guy, the purple and the red and the green kind of pooled together to make this kind of bluish looking hue. So I could have waited a little bit longer to let the red and the green separate, but see, you just find places like around the eye sockets to put the red, and like here at the arm, I pulled the red in the elbow joint, and then some purple up near where the shoulder is. Yeah, just take your time, let the washes dry before you add to them, and you'll end up with a very awesome, disgusting looking unit. Okay, so once again, that's Devlin Mud over everything, and then color experiment with your washes. And the washes we're going to be using again are, let's bring them back. I'm adding Baal Red, and then Badab Black a little bit into the skeleton bone pieces, Ogren Flesh for all the flesh, and then the highlight colors are going to be Thraka Green, Leviathan Purple, and yeah, there's your Devlin Mud. So I'm going to go on and do that and show you what my zombie looks like when we get back. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to add some blood and gore. I started on this guy's trousers. You can see that little open cut. And I've also added some red gore to this gash in his forearm, as well as some of the deeper recesses. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add trails, blood trails like you see right here, to most of the figure, and that is to represent how the magic that caused these zombies to be reanimated and pulled out of the ground really does a number on the blood in the zombie system. So it'll create lots of open running sores that seep and leak out through the clothes and all over the body, and that'll hopefully take away from the cartoony, what some people think is cartoony look from the zombies, and add to the dirty, grim, dark look that I'm going for. Okay, so that's all that is red gore. And if you've actually got a model that has open intestines, such as this one, then you're also going to add in some scorched brown, and that's going to create a lot of dark colors to contrast with. Okay, and then at the end of that, if you have any open intestinal guts like this one, or you just want to add some shine, a little bit of that reflective light, then you're going to use gloss varnish. And that is how I do the blood and gore on my zombies. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to finish with that, and then we're going to end this war boss tutorial by doing the rusted metal effect on the blade. Okay, so red gore, scorched brown, and be as liberal or conservative with it as you want. Zombie politics! So now our zombie is suitably gory and spattered with dried blood. Ooh, gross. We're going to finish off the halberd head, and this one we're going to use is bestial brown, and you're just going to stipple it all along the edges, and then we're going to finish it with a very light stippling of blazing orange and bestial brown mixed 1-to-1. So that's going to give you the corroded, rusted look for the metal. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, the last thing we're going to do to finish off the blade is do a little bit of fine edge highlighting with Mithril Silver. I did forget to mention this in the beginning as well, because it's the very last step, so it just kind of slipped my mind. You're just going to edge the edges of the blade anywhere where it would have gotten chipped recently, like that little hole in the center, or on the stud that's holding it to the pole. And that's going to be the last step that we're going to do. If your zombie has eyeballs, then you can paint it in white and dot the pupil. And like I said, if he's got exposed guts, then you want to paint those in, gloss varnish it. Yeah, once the washes are dry, you really get a good feel for how you did and what you'd like to recreate in your next models. So I'm going to finish that up, and I'll show you what that looks like in just a bit. Alright, and there you have it. This chipped and rusted metal effect can be used for any metal on any zombie. The great thing with the variety of zombie bits that you get in your box are that a lot of your figures are going to end up with knives or, you know, things that have metal on them, so you can recreate this effect to unify all of your zombies with the same look. And if you give them the same color scheme, what I do is alternate the colors on the rest of your zombies, so that the next one might have blue pants and a brown shirt, or a black shirt and blue pants and brown shoes. And what that's going to do is it'll keep the same colors without making your zombies look uniform. You want them to look like a shambling mass if you're going for a suitable horde of zombies.